in all 50 states. So crime is everywhere. Wherever we look, we find criminals and crime. Criminals become a part of our daily lives. Does this mean that we let them control the darkness of our society? No, 100% not. Limiting crime and criminals is our duty, and we cannot ignore it. Getting rightly accused of a crime, of a just crime, is very important. Some criminals commit a crime because they have no other option to survive, but some do it for fun. I do not believe in the death penalty for someone who stole bread from a grocery store. However, a serial killer who kills people for his or her enjoyment or own personal gain definitely deserves the death penalty. The death penalty should continue in order to eliminate the violence of our society. I support the death penalty for multiple reasons. So,
okay, here's mine. It is not justifiable to give the state the power to terminate human life. It is appalling that it is legal to charge someone with the death penalty, especially when there are cases when the people who have been sentenced to death are later proven to be innocent. At least 4% of people, in fact, have been executed that have been wrongfully accused of these crimes. The death penalty also burdens taxpayers with a higher cost than they would be required to financially support for life sentences. Statistically speaking, capital punishment cases cost $1.9 million more than similar cases in which the death penalty was not sought, according to a Maryland cost study. I strongly believe rehabilitation is more valuable than simply punishing someone through ending the life of a human being. A meta-analysis of 58 studies showed that criminals are less likely to reoffend when given education and rehabilitation in correctional facilities than their counterparts who are solely punished. Capital punishment is the ultimate form of punishment for criminals. Many death row inmates receiving these punitive measures have mental health issues that directly impact their daily life. According to Mental Health America, approximately 5 to 10% of death row inmates suffer from severe mental illness. Not only this, but the system is biased against poor people and other marginalized groups such as people of color. People of color are much more likely to be on death row than white people, especially if the victim is white. 55% of persons awaiting death penalty punishment are people of color. On top of this, impoverished people are more likely to be executed because they cannot afford proper lawyers, according to Penal Reform International. Furthermore, the FBI has concluded that the states that have legalized the death penalty have significantly higher murder rates, thus affirming that the death penalty does not cause less crime, which is the intent of the death penalty. In conclusion, it is inhumane and immoral to violate someone's right to live through the death penalty, which is why I believe the United States should abolish all forms of capital punishment.
Now, I noticed that you brought up, cost, innocence. You brought up multiple good points. Mm-hmm. However, much of the cost, so I'm going to do the rebuttal of your cost. So much of the cost is most of the criticism of the death penalty. And, hold on, never mind. So wait, okay. So I didn't have all my reasons. That was just my introduction. Should I go through my reasons?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first reason of many why I support the death penalty is because it deters criminals from committing more horrific crimes. One of your points. In 1973, Isaac Ehrlich, an economist who studies crime and law enforcement, employed a new kind of analysis which produced results showing that for every inmate who was executed, 7 lives were spared because other criminals didn't want to die from the death penalty, so they didn't commit murder. This means that the death penalty, on average, saved 7 families from the hated feeling of losing someone that they love. Vicious murderers must be killed to prevent them from murdering again, either in prison or in a society if they should get out. Both as a deterrent and as a form of permanent punishment, the death penalty helps prevent future crimes. According to Paul Mishuk, a former journalist for the Morning Call, sometimes there's no doubt that people are killers because their sins are recorded by surveillance cameras or bystanders' phones. With that evidence, other than mental illness, there's no reason not to execute someone who commits horrific crimes. While executions are rare, having the death penalty can be a bargaining chip for authorities as they investigate crime. It's also necessary to have capital punishment because some crimes are simply so horrific that any other punishment, including life in jail, is insufficient. Now, this brings me perfectly on to my next point on why capital punishment should be legal. Some crimes are just so bad that the people who commit them deserve death. studies of the death penalty have reached various conclusions about its effectiveness in deterring crimes, but the majority of studies that track effects over many years and across states or countries find a deterrent effect. Indeed, other recent investigations using a variety of samples and statistical methods consistently demonstrate a strong link between executions and reduced murder rates. In short, capital punishment does in fact save lives. In addition to my last points, the death penalty should be legal because some criminals are just too beyond rehabilitation. Whether they're out in the streets or locked up inside a prison, they're always going to represent a threat to someone. Anyone. The death penalty deals with this problem by removing the dangerous elements from society permanently. In conclusion, the death penalty should be legal in all 50 states due to the fact that capital punishment deters criminals from committing crimes and murders. Some crimes are just so bad that any other form of punishment is insufficient. And because some criminals are just far beyond rehabilitation, there's no way to change them.
Okay, so I want to go to the FBI concluded that the states with the death penalty have significantly higher murder rates, and since Canada has stopped executing people on death row, the murder rate has dropped by 44%. Well, I know it's not the same country, but it does have, it's similar because the FBI did conclude that there's more murders in states that have the death penalty. So,
well, okay, but if there are more murders, then then you kill the murderer. The murderer deserves death because if they kill someone, let's say they kill me, okay, my family they suffer. My friends, they suffer. Everyone who is involved with me, most likely, I hope, suffers. However, if the feeling of closure that the person who killed me was executed and got the right punishment, it does help with the fact it gives them closure that there was justice served in this country where there's not much justice.
Okay, but if one of your family members got the death penalty, wouldn't that put you in distress also? You have to think about the family of the person that is being put on death row, not just the person who got murdered.
However, they most likely deserve it because if, let's say, in a scenario, someone is innocent, they have multiple chances that a criminal, they get to prove their innocence in front of multiple judges, multiple different juries. If a person cannot prove their innocence with the opportunities that they are given, they are more often than not guilty.
Well, actually, at least 4% of people who have been executed are actually innocent, and there are multiple cases where they have been proven innocent later after they have been executed.
They had multiple chances to prove their innocence. After that, there's nothing else that you can do. Go ahead.
I don't understand why that you think that's just okay that all these innocent people are dying from the death penalty, though. There's innocent people dying from this. It's not I just don't understand why anyone would support it if it is killing innocent lives.
Well, then why couldn't they prove their innocence?
There's multiple reasons. Okay, 4% of people that have been executed were innocent. So it's not like everybody that has been executed was not innocent. There have been multiple cases that they are innocent. It's not just a myth or whatever. And if they can't prove their innocence or whatever, a lot of people do not have enough money for a good lawyer to be able to prove them innocent.
That is true. Yeah, if they can't afford a good lawyer, then by the Sixth Amendment, they get a lawyer. However, if they cannot get their facts backed up on why they're innocent, if they cannot get their reasons, their facts, then they're most likely guilty. Because if you have a case from 1943 on someone that someone was punished to death, and it's solved 2012, Well, there's new technology now, and that's why we could solve the case, if that makes sense.
That's not necessarily true, though. Like, and you're just saying like, oh, they can't prove their innocence, but it's not always their fault that they can't prove their innocence. There's a lot of times where people are wrongfully accused of crimes and they are like set up to look like it was them that did it, but it wasn't. So there's no way that they can prove their innocence sometimes.
Well, then we also need the death penalty to be improved. It should still be legal, but it needs to be improved, if that's what you're saying.
What do you mean by improved? Like, give some examples of how you would improve it.
Well, I would improve it by having more chances then for someone to prove their innocence, or by getting a better lawyer. Like you said, some of them can't afford a good lawyer, so they should change it into where you get a better lawyer. They should have the lawyer who is trying to help the innocent person, let's say. They should have that lawyer tested multiple times to see if they're a good lawyer. Because if they're a bad lawyer, there's nothing the innocent person can do. It's up to the judge to decide what happens. And if the lawyer cannot back it up, then it cannot back up that their client is innocent, then that's the lawyer's fault.
A better lawyer isn't covered by the Constitution. Like, it's not.
Well, it should be.
Well, okay, if we do change the death penalty in some ways, there's still going to be innocent people that are executed. It's not like that's just going to stop happening.
And there are innocent people in life in jail. So no matter...
Yeah, and they are still in jail. It's not like their life has been ended. Like, they can still get out of jail.
Yeah, they can. However, if somebody is framed... Okay, so life in jail, in my opinion, is better than the death penalty.
Mm-hmm.
Because you get free food, 3 meals a day. Although it might not be good, it's still free. And then you get free food, free healthcare. Although it's not good, it's still free. So it's better than death. So if you have someone who killed, let's say he raped 7 children, killed them, and killed multiple innocent people. So what's going to happen? And he thinks that he's innocent. He's proven innocent later. So in that moment, the judge thinks that that person is guilty. So the judge wants that person to be executed, not have 50 more years of free food, not have 50 more years of free healthcare, because they do not deserve it. In that moment, they do not deserve it.
Personally, I would rather be sentenced to death than spend my entire life in prison. And I mean, the facts that there's higher murder rates in states that have the death penalty does show that. Other people do also agree with that. So it's not like people just don't want to spend their life in jail. They would just rather have an easier outlet, which is like, oh, I can murder someone, and if I do go to jail, I can end up getting the death penalty, and I'll have an easy way out. Instead of just being in jail for the rest of your life and rotting in jail and having to think about what you did.
Well, in my opinion, I believe in heaven and hell. So if that person is sentenced to death, they go to hell, which is much worse than life.
Well, I'm
so
not
that's the reason why I believe in the death penalty.
And also, not everyone on death row will be executed. Only like a very small percentage of them are executed. And so if you are on death penalty, if you are on the death penalty and you are thinking like, oh my God, I'm going to die, like that can cause so much distress to someone, that can like literally hurt someone's mental health so much. If you're like, oh my God, my death is being planned, like I'm going to die really soon and stuff like that. It hurts people's mental health a lot.
Then they shouldn't have committed the crime that gave them the death penalty.
First, a lot of people are innocent. Second,
then they have about 10 years. Let's say they're on death row for 10 years. They have 10 years to prove their innocence. If they cannot, they are more likely than not guilty.
And well, if someone spends life in prison, then they have their entire life to prove that they're innocent.
But they also have an entire life. If they're innocent, okay, everyone thinks that they committed a crime. Everyone thinks that having death is justified. However, if they are innocent, they don't think that.
I don't understand what you're trying to say.
So if they're innocent, they get, again, life in prison. That's better than the death penalty.
I would disagree with that.
Well, think about it. Again, I'm going to bring this up again. Free food, free healthcare, free living, a warm cell, that is better than most people's lives. However, if we have the death penalty, that would stop the people who who live paycheck to paycheck, meal to meal, who don't have a cozy place to stay in or a shelter, that would have them not commit a crime, if that makes sense.
So you understand that the prison system is very bad. Like,
Yeah.
you literally have to spend hours a day sitting in a cell that is very small on this very bad bed that you can barely sleep on, with all these other inmates with you, and you can only shower like a few times a week, and you barely have any time to go outside and get fresh air. And it's not okay. Like, it's not just, oh, you get free meals. Like, no, it's very bad and detrimental to a lot of people.
Life in prison is better, unfortunately, than some people's current living standards. So if let's say they're like, okay, well, I would rather not be in the rain today. I would rather have food to eat. And I would rather, if I get injured, go to a hospital with health care. Then they would be like, okay, I'm going to go kill someone to have that opportunity. I'm going to go rob a bank. I'm going to go kidnap someone to have that opportunity. However, if they have the death penalty, then they're like, okay, there's a chance that I could die, and I would rather be living in my current situation than die. So I will not kidnap someone. I will not rob a bank. I will not kill someone.
Okay, but the fact that the murder rates are higher in places that have the death penalty shows that not everyone thinks that. A lot of people would just rather have an easy way out, which is the death penalty.
Well, again, in my opinion, they would go to hell, which is worse.
Okay, but you can't bring religion into this. Not everybody's religious. I'm not religious, so you can't bring religion into this. This is not a religious issue.
But okay, fine, then I won't bring religion into it. However, if I'm going to bring up in, 1973 to 2011, Isaac Ehrlich him and his son studied this. So what they did is, for every inmate that was killed in prison or by the death penalty, that saved 7 lives. Although that is not a lot in context, that is a lot. 7 is not a big number, but in this scenario, it is, because that saves 7 lives.
Again, murder rates are higher in places with the death penalty. That's according to the FBI. Like, I'm not just making this up. It's the FBI.
Well, if the murder rates are higher, then people would have. I see what you're saying. Okay. Mm-hmm. But you also brought up cost. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's actually more expensive for taxpayers to have someone spend, let's say they're 40 when they commit a crime. Average life in America is 75. So they have 35 years in prison. That is more expensive than having someone sentenced to death.
No, that's not true. According to a Maryland cost study, death penalty cases cost $1.9 million more than similar cases to taxpayers. And on Pennsylvania's death row, whenever there was 185 people on death row, the cost was $351 million to taxpayers.
Okay, hold on. So the existence of the death penalty as a possible sentence leads to guilty pleas. So people plead guilty, and that saves money spent on the trials and limits opportunity for appeals. So if you have the death penalty, you would rather plead guilty to get life in prison, which saves money on trials and limits the opportunity for appeals.
I don't understand what you're trying to say.
Okay, so someone killed someone.
Mm-hmm.
So they are sentenced, they have a trial.
Mm-hmm.
If they are sentenced to death penalty, they can plead guilty, which gives them, let's say, life in prison. That is less expensive than having someone 10 years on death row. Every single 8 months, they have a trial and they have an appeal. So for 8 months, every year, they have, okay, so that's about 18 months. No, I did that math wrong. That's about 80 months of trials and appeals, which is more expensive than having someone say that they're guilty, getting life in prison, having maybe 1 or 2 appeals in that time because of the death penalty.
Okay, so do you have a source that says like it costs more? Because like I have a source, Maryland Cost Study. I mean, I can probably get more. So
this is according to IPL.org.
IPL.org. Okay, well, mine's according to Maryland Cost Study, and again, it says death penalty cases cost $1.9 million more for taxpayers. So, I mean, yeah.
But it has the person. Okay, my opinion, I would rather be living than dead, as I'm sure most people would.
Not in jail, not rotting in jail. I would much rather die than be rotting in jail.
Well, then it gives the opportunity. Most criminals, let's say, would be rather living than in jail. Let's say that so most criminals, they have the opportunity to say that they're guilty, get life in prison, saves money on appeals and trials. Think about it.
Again, the states with the death penalty have a much higher murder rate, so it's not like, I just genuinely do not understand like what you're trying to explain. Because a lot of people would rather be put to death, and that like shows it. I mean,
this is just common logic. If you think about it, I'm going to say this again. Having life in prison with 2 appeals in the middle is less expensive than having the death penalty, someone on death row for 10 years, having an appeal 8 months. That is more expensive to taxpayers than to have 2 appeals in 35 years rather than 18 appeals, 19 appeals in 10 years.
Can you send me that source? Because like,
yeah, I will.
Okay, do you want to, okay, this is getting very repetitive. So do you want to, hold on, my parents are talking. Hold on. Sorry. Okay. Do you want to talk about how like the death penalty is like very racist and stuff and bias against poor people?
Yeah, you can go. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. So, in my opinion, the death penalty is very racist and it's very classist because a lot of people on death row are Black, and 55% of people awaiting death penalty punishment are people of color at the moment, which is very crazy because they only make up a very small percentage. As of October 2002, 12 people have been executed where the defendant was white and the murder victim was Black, compared with 178 Black defendants executed for murders with white victims. And also, a lot of poorer people cannot afford good lawyers, meaning that they will be put on death row if they are not proven to be innocent by these really bad lawyers.
Okay, so the racial breakdown for those sentenced to death since 1977 is as follows: 48.6% white, 40.9% Black, 8.9% Hispanic, and 1.6% other. The race defendants executed in the U.S. since 1976 is 56% white, 35% Black, 7% Hispanic, and 2% other. So the top two races in America, being white and Black, are the top two in the death penalty, who get the death penalty. So, and in this, 8.6%, sorry, 7.3%, there's a 7.3% difference in people executed from white to Black. So there's 48.6% white people are executed and 40.9% Black people are executed. Now, I'm not trying to be racist. Okay, I'm in support of Black Lives Matter. But generally, according to police, in Black communities, and we have to help this is a problem in America. They are more violent than white communities. We have to stop that in America. Okay? So that proves the 5% difference than the difference in race. So there's 8% difference in people sentenced to death, and there's 15, sorry. So there's a 7% difference in the race.
I mean, okay, so the more violent part that you were speaking about, or the more crime or whatever you were talking about, obviously Black neighborhoods are over-policed, so obviously they do have a higher rate of crime, but that does not make it okay that a lot of people are on death row just because they are people of color. And I will say this, people of color have accounted for a disproportionate 43% of total executions since 1976. And while white victims account for approximately 1/2 of all murder victims, 80% of all capital cases involve white victims. So yes, if you're a Black person and you kill a white person, you are much more likely to be put on death row. And that's literally a fact. That's been proven so many times. And that is not okay.
Yeah, that's not okay.
Yeah, the death penalty is very racist.
No, it's not. The system is racist. The death penalty is not racist. So the system that sentences people to death is racist. We need to change that. However, the death penalty is not. Being sentenced to death is racist. However, being killed is not. So we need to change the system that sentences people to death, but we do not need to change the death penalty. The death penalty should stay there.
I don't understand the point of changing the death penalty whenever it's it can just be abolished and everything will change. If that makes sense. The criminal justice system is very racist, and I will give you that. However, the death penalty is one of the most racist parts of it, and that's one of the worst parts of it.
Okay, let's split it this way. The death penalty and the system that sentences people to death are two different categories. So the death penalty, let's say, is just the electric chair. So the electric chair stays, but the system needs to be reformed to not be as racist as it is. America needs to change. But the death penalty system is bad. The death penalty needs to stay in America. Some countries, of course, like Syria, they sentence people to death for fun. And that is a problem. However, in America, it is required by law to have a trial, and it is required by law to have a lawyer. Okay? Mm-hmm. And the judges, let's say John is a judge, and John is racist. That judge needs to go. That judge is the system. The system needs to go and needs to be changed. However, the death penalty needs to stay to just have the country be better, technically.
How is that having the country be better?
Death penalty.
It's not having the country be better.
How?
Okay, I'll give you all my points. First of all, innocent people are killed. Second, it costs a lot. Third, there's bias in the system. Four, there's a lot of mental health issues that will get you on death row. And five, rehabilitation is much more important. So those are my reasons.
Some criminals are beyond rehabilitation.
No.
They are. Yeah.
A meta-analysis of 58 studies showed that criminals are less likely to reoffend when given education and rehabilitation in correctional facilities.
What was this? How much was it?
It doesn't say an amount, but it's a meta-analysis of 58 studies. It just says they're less likely. I don't have the exact amount, but they are much less likely.
Some criminals, have you met every single criminal who's been sentenced to death row? No, I haven't either. But some of them are far beyond rehabilitation. They are unchangeable. So if we have them in jail for the rest of their life, they still provide an issue and a danger to the other inmates. And let's say they are let out for some reason, they still provide a danger to the citizens of America and to the people of America.
Okay, so you said that they cause like danger inside of the prison to like other inmates. Is that what you're saying?
If they are far beyond rehabilitation, if we get rid of the death penalty and someone who is unfixable, which on many accounts is true. So someone is unfixable, they go to jail and they have lunch in the cafeteria. They can easily kill someone because their mental state is horrible, unfixable.
I mean, you do understand that people that are sentenced to death penalty do not get the death penalty for many years after being sentenced to it. So obviously they are going to be in jail also. It's not like they are
in jail, but there is an end. However, if you're in jail for life, there might not be an end. You could kill 4 more people in jail.
You know, death penalty inmates can also do that.
They can, but then they're sentenced to death earlier. If we don't have a
Not
death
necessarily.
penalty, there's nothing you can do. If someone who should be sentenced to the death penalty, but it's illegal, they should be sentenced to the death penalty. There's no other punishment that you can do to that person. You can send them to solitary confinement, but that doesn't change the fact that that other inmate is, let's say, killed by that person.
Again, the people that are sentenced to death penalty also will be in jail, so it's not like they're just
have another
one.
You can bring the death penalty 5 years closer.
It doesn't always work like that.
Most scenarios it does. But also,
continue.
No, that's fine.
I'm just explaining that like they are also in jail, so they can kill someone at the same rate as someone else who just has life in prison.
But the person that has life in prison, there's no other punishment. There's nothing else that can happen to that person. They'll just stay in prison.
They can get in solitary confinement. They can be a lot like restricted a lot more.
That kills their mental state, like you said. Like you said, not 10, 15 minutes before, being sentenced to death kills someone's mental state.
I never said that was right, but I'm just explaining that can happen and there's not like no worse punishment. Like, because I do believe in rehabilitation. So if someone does kill someone in jail, rehabilitation is a very good option. Because obviously there's something wrong with them if they are killing more people in jail. So rehabilitation is definitely one of the most important things that should happen to an inmate.
If you kill 10 people and then are sentenced to life in prison, you kill 2 more inmates. Okay, there's nothing else that can happen to that person. And their mental state, if they are sentenced to solitary confinement, like you said, their mental state is broken. Like you said 15 minutes ago, if someone is sentenced to death, their mental state is broken. So if someone's sentenced to solitary confinement, their mental state will be even more broken. Okay.
Matt, do you have like a statistic on like how often this happens? How often? Here, I'll look it up because I doubt
I'm going to load
very often
right now.
Hold on. Okay, I just looked it up. How common are murders in U.S. prison? It's almost impossible to get away with it now, as cameras are virtually everywhere and is clear tags are nothing short of prolific. So I can't even find anything like how often it happens because it's so rare. It never happens. So that shouldn't be a reason just to support the death penalty.
Well, then 4% of innocent people, that's so rare that it almost never happens.
That's 1 out of 25 people.
Okay, so there's a criminal, kills someone in jail, that person is dead. There's nothing that you can do about it except send that other person to solitary confinement. Let's say someone is sentenced to life in prison and the death penalty is legal. They kill someone in jail. They get the death penalty.
So with your logic, anyone in jail can kill someone.
Yes, anyone.
Yeah, exactly. And if you are like a murderer or whatever, then you're more likely to be in much higher security, making it very, very hard to kill someone in jail.
It's still possible.
It's very hard, and I can't even find any statistics on it because it's that rare. Sorry, my parents were outside.
It's always possible. There's okay. What are you going to do to that person that, let's say, killed someone in jail? What are you going to do? You are the head of police or whatever, and you can do something to that person. You can give that person a further punishment other than life in prison, which they already have.
I would send them to rehabilitation.
That's not a punishment.
I never said I wanted to give them a punishment. Exactly. I don't want to punish them. I want to give them more resources to get help.
If you end someone's life, you deserve a punishment no matter what.
Okay, but you're already in jail, so I don't understand.
Yeah, you're
already in jail. I just believe that rehabilitation is much more important than solely punishing someone.
Okay, but what else can you do? Okay, if let's say rehab is more important than punishing someone, but you still have to punish someone.
They're already in jail.
Doesn't matter which one's more important. Exactly, they're still in jail. That's the only punishment if the death penalty is illegal.
Okay, so if someone tries to kill themselves, would you rather give them rehabilitation or would you rather just punish them? Because they're trying to kill someone.
Is that what you said?
What? Sorry, you cut out. I didn't hear
you. If you said if somebody tries to commit suicide?
Yeah, because they're trying to kill someone, and with your logic, we should punish people who try to kill someone instead of just giving them rehabilitation.
Is that person in jail?
No.
Okay, then they still have an opportunity to first get rehabilitation. Second, maybe 6 months of community service because committing suicide is illegal. So you first get rehab and then you get your punishment. Because no matter what, you have to get a punishment.
So, okay, I just don't like that's gonna mess up people's mental health even more just by getting a punishment instead of rehabilitation. And again, a meta-analysis of 58 studies showed that
I'm not against rehabilitation, but what I'm against is making the death penalty illegal. Okay, if you try and kill someone, you should get a punishment. It doesn't matter if it's yourself. If it's yourself, then you get rehabilitation. Okay, and then you get your punishment. Because no matter what, because committing suicide is illegal. So if you commit a crime, if you do something that is illegal, you get a punishment. Whether it's a parking ticket or whether it's the death penalty in most states, or in some states. Most, actually.
Okay, hold on. So do you think that all death row inmates should get rehabilitation?
If they are beyond rehabilitation, they should all at least try rehabilitation. The police system should have them, or should try to make them better, but they can still be sentenced to death because what they did is worthy of death.
Okay, however, 5 to 10% of people who are on death row currently have mental health issues that directly impact their daily life. Like that, like directly impact, like they cannot help it like at all, and it could have made them like crazy and make them kill someone. It's not always like, oh, I'm just gonna go kill someone right now because I want to. Like, no, a lot of people have mental health issues that make them do things like that. So solely punishing them is not the best option.
Like I said in my point, hold on. Okay, so like I said in my speech, if there's no reason to kill someone other than if you have a mental illness. If you have a mental illness, get life in prison. Okay, that's a punishment, or get 15 years in prison or whatever. That's a punishment, and you also get rehabilitation. However, you have no reason to kill someone if you don't have a mental illness.
Okay, hold on. So you think that people should go to jail instead of a mental facility if they do have mental illnesses and they do kill someone?
If they have a mental illness, they should go to jail, get rehabilitation, and get help. But they should still get the punishment.
I just don't. If you have a mental health issue, I do not think you should be forced to go to jail. I think you should have to go to a mental institution instead of jail, where they do not help anything.
Well, then they should. Then that's a problem that we need to fix.
Okay. Do you want to talk about anything else? I'm trying to look.
Okay, wait. Think about it this way. Hold on. I'm trying to further prove my point. Think about it this way. No matter what, if you kill someone, if you try to kill someone, even if it's yourself, you should get a punishment, whether you have a mental illness or not. However, if you have a mental illness, the punishment should decrease because of your mental illness, and you should also get help. If you do not get help in prison, then that's not the death penalty's fault. That is the prison's fault.
The prison system does not have they're not meant to do rehabilitation. So sending someone to prison is not the best option for them because they won't get the help that they do truly need.
Well, if they don't get the help that they truly need, that is not the death penalty's fault. That is not their fault. That is the prison's fault. So we need to fix that.
Okay, so you think that we should change the death penalty instead of just abolishing it or keeping it the same?
What do you mean?
Like, you think that it should be improved instead of just being abolished?
Oh yeah, the prison system needs to be improved. Most of America needs to be improved.
Okay, so if you were able to improve the death penalty, what would you do?
Okay, make it more fair for criminals. Okay, make it less racist, like you said, like you brought up in your point. Make it more fair for everyone, no matter their social standard, no matter their color, no matter how much money they have, no matter anything. Okay, that's one way that you improve it. Another way is that you don't sentence someone to death if they have a mental illness and they do something. Because people that get sentenced to death, like I said in my speech, people get sentenced to death. You have no reason, not a single reason to end someone's life other than if you have a mental illness, which then you get a punishment. Because no matter what, punishment should be there. You don't get a free pass into rehabilitation if you commit a crime.
Mm-hmm.
You need punishment.
Okay, so you can't just make the system not racist. Like, that has nothing to do with the death penalty. As you said earlier, I mean, this was your words. You think that the system is racist instead of the death penalty. So you can't just make the death penalty not racist.
Well, I'm talking about Is that not what you said?
I said that, like, the death penalty in specific, because you do not want to abolish it. You want to make changes.
Yeah, make changes to the system. Okay,
and I mean that. Okay.
The system needs to be improved. The death penalty needs to stay, and punishment needs to be there, no matter what.
there are just like so many reasons that the death penalty does have an issue. Because again, I will bring this up. This is not something that can be changed. There are higher rates of crime in places with the death penalty. So that's not something that will be changed. That's not something that's going to be able to get changed.
Crime that are worthy of the death penalty.
What did you say? I couldn't hear you.
Is it higher rates of crime or higher rates of crime that are worthy of the death penalty?
Higher rates of murder.
Then they also need to be sentenced to either life in prison or the death penalty, depending on how many people they killed or how they killed them. If it's like via torture or whatnot.
The death penalty is already so rarely used that I just don't understand why it should be kept instead of just being completely abolished. It's like used very rarely. So, and again, higher rates of crime. Again, innocent people are going to be killed no matter what, and it's just obviously it costs a lot more too.
The death penalty needs to stay there. If it's so rarely used, then the people that commit the crimes that are worthy of the death penalty have committed crimes so horrific that they do not deserve life in prison. They deserve death immediately.
Immediately?
Well, okay. However long it takes to be on death row.
Okay, I mean, there's no reason in keeping a system that is already used so rarely.
If it's already used so rarely, what are you going to do to the people that deserve the death that would have gotten the death? Okay, let's say the death penalty is illegal. What are you going to do to the people that deserve the death penalty, even though
that's what I okay, but you see, I think that no one deserves the death penalty. That's what I'm trying to say.
So if the death penalty is used so rarely, then there are opportunities, or then there are crimes that are so horrific that they don't deserve anything else. You're not going to give someone life in prison for committing a horrific crime that should have deserved the death penalty.
Why not though? Like, I do believe that instead of death penalty, there should be life in prison and rehabilitation instead of just like putting someone to death, like ending the life of someone just because they did something that might not even be them. Like, they might not have even done it. I don't think is okay.
Okay, think about it. Think about it this way. If let's say the attacks on 9/11, let's say the pilot survived, you're not going to give them death, even though you're not?
No.
They deserve to live?
They deserve to have life in prison.
But they deserve to live. The people the terrorists that killed 10,000 people deserve to live.
They don't deserve to have the death penalty. The taxpayers do not deserve to pay for them just to die. There's so many other things than just, oh, this person deserves to die. Like, no.
Oh, okay, so Osama bin Laden didn't deserve to die. He deserved to have life in prison.
No one deserves to die.
Osama bin Laden definitely does. So definitely does.
No one just completely deserves to die.
People are way past the fact. Let's say that they're all still living and they all are in current day, are in the world right now. They are far beyond any other form of punishment other than death. Adolf Hitler, Joseph Stalin, Saddam Hussein, Osama bin Laden, all these people deserve to die. Why? Because they killed hundreds of thousands of innocent people in the form of war, in the forms of the Holocaust, in the forms of in the forms of terrorist attacks. What else are you going to do to them? Okay, what else are you going to do to them?
Okay, so do you think that Obama deserves the death penalty because he bombed so many countries and killed so many people? Do you think that he deserved that?
Well, that's actually a good point. Well, okay. He had a reason to. And the reason was Osama bin Laden. The reason was the wars. The reason was their own country was killing their people. If Donald Trump today killed in the form of bombing them, like Syria did to its people, in the form of bombing them, he deserves the death penalty. He deserves to die. He killed hundreds of thousands of innocent people for no good reason.
90% of people Obama bombed were just citizens.
So are you against Obama?
Oh yeah, I'm anti-Obama. I don't like Obama, if that's what you're asking. And I mean, according to your logic, he does deserve death penalty. That's what you're trying to say.
He's proving a point to save more lives. Osama bin Laden did not, in no way in no way has he saved any lives.
Okay, you're talking about saving lives when you won't even like think about the fact that, again, I will bring this up again, the death penalty increases the rates of crime. I'm bringing this up again because you're talking about how it's saving lives. Like, the abolishing the death penalty will save so many lives.
Okay, what are you going to do to the criminal? The death penalty is abolished tomorrow, okay?
Mhm.
This crime is going to stay. It's going to stay. That logic is just false.
Again, the crime will go down because the death penalty does increase crime.
How does the death penalty
because these criminals, they're like, oh, if I kill someone, I could just die instead of having life in prison. Okay, well, if I get caught, I'll just be put to death. It's an easy way out. Like, that's what they're thinking. That's why they have higher rates of crime in places with the death penalty.
So immediately, okay, let's say in Texas, the death penalty becomes illegal tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And in Texas, there's 5% more crime than in Illinois. Okay? Mm-hmm. So within 1 week, crime will go down 100% or 50%. You're still going to have crime no matter what.
Okay, so do you want to have more crime?
Do you want to have someone, a mass murderer? Most people deserve to live. However, dictators who kill their innocent people, I'm going to bring up again Syria, okay, Yemen, okay, they deserve to die. Why? Because they killed hundreds of thousands of pure innocent people. Now, Obama, okay, was trying to prove a point to Syria.
By killing civilians.
He was trying to prove a point to Syria. Okay, if you don't stop killing your innocent people, we will, no matter what, war will kill innocent people. So you might as well have war trying to stop a country from going complete shutdown, from literally killing its entire population, then.
So what you're saying is that if you kill someone, you deserve to have the same thing done to you.
I don't understand your point.
So if you kill someone, you deserve to die because you ended someone's life. You deserve to die.
If you ended someone's life, technically, yes. And do not bring up Obama, please.
I'm not. That's okay.
I've been doing that for a while, so.
So you think that if you do a crime, you deserve to have the same thing back, because that's essentially what you're saying. If you end someone's life, you deserve to have your life ended.
It depends.
Can you explain why it depends?
Okay, if you kill one person, okay, and let's say that they had your family at gunpoint or something, and you kill them, 10 years in prison, okay, 15 years in prison. You have that punishment. However, if you kill someone for your own personal gain, for no reason at all, or just for fun, I mean, you find it entertaining, you deserve to die. You have no reason to live other than killing people.
If the death penalty is abolished, people have life in prisons, and it's not like they're just going to be set free. That's what a lot of people think. I'm not saying you think this, but a lot of people think, like, if the death penalty is abolished, people would just be set free instead of having life in prison, which is not true at all. And yeah, I mean, it's just a terrible system that I do not believe is justifiable.
Okay, the death penalty is there. I'm going to bring up Joe. Okay, another normal common name. If Joe kills 100,000, big number, 100,000 people, you know what, Joe, you don't deserve to die. Life in prison. Is that what you're saying? Oh, Joe, actually, you seem to have a mental illness. Although you did kill a lot of people, you don't get prison. You'll get, let's see here, you'll be in a mental institute.
Okay, but this is not an actual person. Like, you need to give actual you need to give actual like examples. You can't just make stuff up.
Hitler. Let's say Hitler was alive now. Killed 6 million Jews. Okay, invaded countries. Okay, let's say the US capture him. Hitler, although you were pretty bad, you seem to have a few mental issues, you don't deserve prison. I brought up a real person.
No one said he doesn't deserve prison.
All right, fine, you deserve prison, but you don't deserve death. Although you did kill 6 million plus more because of World War II, you don't deserve death. Is that what you deserve life in prison?
Yeah, I agree. And also, Hitler wasn't even in America, so Germany would have to deal with it, not us.
Okay, let's say we capture Hitler, or we capture Saddam Hussein like we did. We gave him death. Why? Because he had no reason to live.
You can't put people who aren't U.S. citizens through our justice system.
Okay, U.S. citizen, you deserve death. You don't have a reason to live other than killing people. If you kill 100 people, you deserve. Ted Bundy. I brought up an example. Killed innocent people for his own personal gain and for fun. Nah, I don't think you deserve death. You have a reason to live. I'll sentence you to death. He has no reason to live.
He has no reason to be put to death because of all the other reasons that the death penalty does need to be abolished. I don't think the taxpayers should be forced to kill this person with their own money.
Okay, so let's say a taxpayer agrees with Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy, I'm not going to pay for his death. We killed Osama. We killed Saddam. The U.S. did. You can search it up.
Iraq. So Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
So he killed like 31 people. I mean, 30 people, I think. I don't know the exact number, but he did kill a lot. So if you kill him, that's another person dead.
But that also saves lives.
No, again, I don't know why I have to bring this up again. The death penalty has higher murder rates in states where it is not abolished yet.
This is okay. Higher crime rates, so they are sentenced to death. If they commit 15 murders, they need death. They deserve death.
That's an extra person died.
Pardon?
That's an extra person that will die. And what you guys are saying is that death is bad, so I don't understand why murdering another person is justifiable.
Murdering a person that has no reason to live. If you have no reason to live, why are you here? And I'm not saying if you think that you have no reason to live. I'm saying if you have no reason to live, then you deserve death. If you have no reason. However, if you think that you don't have a reason, no, you don't deserve death.
Everyone has a reason to live.
Some people don't. Like Saddam Hussein.
So, okay, so suicidal people, if they think that they don't have a reason to live, they should just die.
If depending on the crime that they did, if you don't have a reason to live.
I'm talking about suicidal people because you're saying if you do not have a reason to live, you should just die.
No.
And I'm saying that's not okay.
Suicidal people think that they don't have a reason to live. In theory, they do.
And so do people who are put on death row.
Most of them don't. Most of them.
Okay. What do you mean most of them don't? A lot, literally, like all of them have family.
All of them have family. I doubt if I commit something that's worthy of the death penalty, I doubt my family would care if I. Well,
I disagree. If one of my family members got put on death row, I definitely would care because I would never see them again. And if they are put to life in prison, then I will be able to see them. Like, I will be able to talk to them and see them. And if they are just put to death and they just die, then no, I won't be able to talk to them.
Well, they have
And that will like hurt my mental health, because I'm never going to see them again. It's literally having someone that you love die. So that is going to hurt my mental health and other people who care about them.
Well, if let's say my brother, kills 10 people and goes on death row, for me, this is why I believe in it, in the death penalty. For me, he went from this to this in my level of respect and how much I care for them. Because I do not care for people, no matter how close I am to them, who deserve the death penalty. So it might hurt my mental state because I'll never see them again. I never get to speak to them again. But it also gives me the fact, okay, well, they've been thinking about this for years. They've been thinking about killing people for years. So they deserve death.
That's just that's your personal, that's not.
And that's why I believe in the death penalty. It's not why. Okay. Well.
Okay, but just saying, oh, that's why I believe in the death penalty. You're not the family of the people who are going to be dying.
More likely than not, they go from this to this in their level of respect and how you care for them. If your sibling, commits 15 murders, 15 murders, would you still love them the same that you do right now?
It's not like I would just be like, oh, I hate you. Like, they're still my sibling.
They still are, but there's a reason why they are sentenced to death.
And I don't think that they should be sentenced to death. I don't think there is a reason that they should be sentenced to death. No one should be sentenced to death.
People? Yes, they should.
No, but that's what I'm saying. There's no reason that someone should be killed by the state just because they did something that might not even be their fault.
That might not even be their fault. Then why didn't they prove it?
Again, poor people can't always have proper lawyers.
But then they should have had the facts. They should have had an alibi, things like that.
That doesn't always work.
To prove their innocence. Then we need to change the system if that doesn't always work.
It's already so rarely used that changing the system will just not do anything. And if we do change the system, innocent people will still be killed. That's not just going to stop happening.
Wait. Well, so if we don't have the death penalty, and we don't know this yet because we don't have the facts because most of the states have the death penalty. Pretty sure 37 of them have the death penalty. So let's say all of those become, in all 50 states, becomes illegal. So in all 50 states, it becomes illegal. So in most opinions, so I would rather die than rot in prison. So you kill someone. Well, you get sentenced to life in prison. Oh, wait, no, you have a mental issue. You get no punishment, and you go to a mental institute.
Mental issues isn't a choice. It's not like you can just be like, oh, I have mental issues.
I'm not saying it's a choice. If someone who has mental issues kills, let's say, 10 people, then they either deserve life in prison or death. Because you don't kill 10 people. That's not acceptable. No matter the circumstance, no matter the scenario. Even if you kill one person, in 99% of scenarios, that's not acceptable. However, here, if the death penalty is illegal, then that is acceptable. I mean, it's acceptable, but you get sentenced to life in prison. You don't deserve death.
And no one deserves death. That's what I'm trying to explain by this.
So what you're saying, Saddam Hussein didn't deserve death? Osama bin Laden, Joseph Stalin? None of these people deserve death?
And again, none of these people are in America, so it shouldn't be our choice.
You killed Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden.
Okay, look. We should not just have to decide who deserves death and who doesn't.
But we do, we should.
Also, you're bringing up people that don't live in the United States. Like, they didn't do these crimes in the United States, so we wouldn't even have to deal with them.
Osama bin Laden didn't do any crimes in the U.S.?
No, I'm saying he didn't live in the United States.
We
Like we wouldn't be able to punish him.
capture him. So what you're saying is, how old was Osama? Hold on. Okay. How old was Osama bin Laden when he died? Let's say he would have lived for 80 years if he was still alive. He was 54. That is, oh God, I can't do math. That is 36 years. No, 26 years. Okay. 26 years he would have been living. Okay. 26 years he would have stayed living.
Mm-hmm.
So Osama bin Laden didn't deserve death. He would have deserved to live for 26 more years.
They can't kill in prison. They can't kill people in prison. So it's not like any more people will be dying from this.
No, what I'm saying is 26 years since 2011. It's 26 years until 2037. He would have been living. Let's say he lives for 80 years. We don't know. We don't know what he did. Okay. We killed him. The United States of America, although he's not a U.S. citizen, we killed him. So what you're saying is he should have gone back to jail in wherever country he was living.
Mm-hmm.
Gone to jail there. But what if they sentence him to death?
That's them. That's not us. I'm talking about the United States, not a different country.
But you're saying the death penalty should be illegal. Are you saying that the death penalty should be illegal in all the countries or just America?
I'm talking about America because that's where
why would the death penalty be legal in other countries?
Because we shouldn't have to decide other countries. We're discussing the United States. We're discussing the United States. All my facts are from the United States.
Okay, the United States killed Osama bin. What you're saying is Osama bin Laden deserves to live. Is that what you're saying?
Everyone deserves to live.
Not everyone.
Disagree.
Why?
Because you're saying if they kill someone, they do not deserve to live. But people could say the same thing to the other person that was killed. They could say, "Oh, they didn't deserve to live."
No, you said Osama bin Laden. I'm talking about Osama bin Laden right now. What is your point to say that Osama bin Laden deserves to live?
My point is that he's not in the United States, so we shouldn't have to be doing that. Like,
we still killed him.
It's not the death penalty.
He would have been sent
not the death penalty.
Pardon?
It's not the death penalty. It's literally just killing someone. Like, it's not like he went through our system.
Oh yeah, because there was more than enough evidence to say that he killed.
Again, it's not our system. He wasn't put through the legal system.
Because there was more than enough evidence. We don't need the legal system to prove that he was the creator and he was the organizer of 9/11.
To put someone on death row, you have to go through the legal system. I don't understand what Osama bin Laden has to do with this, because he was not put on death row.
He was killed in America.
Okay, but he was not put on death row. That's what I'm saying.
Well, we still should have the death penalty for, let's say, an American citizen who decides to go on a murder spree. Do they deserve to live?
Mm-hmm.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
So, okay, an American who goes on a murder spree should have 50 years in prison?
They should have life in prison.
They should have life in prison. So 50 years in prison? Let's just say.
That's the rest of their life, yes.
They deserve to die. No, if someone who is on a murder spree deserves to die. People deserve to die. Although it is very rare, like you said, the death penalty is rarely used, people still deserve to die. No matter what, no matter where. The Yemen government, the Syrian government.
That's not the United States.
They still deserve to die.
We're discussing the United States.
I'm still using them as examples. Let's say they were living in the US. Do they deserve to die? Let's say J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, goes and let's say a new president, not Trump. Okay, new president decides, you know what? My country I don't really like them right now. I'm going to go kill off a state. Okay, let's say they kill the least populated state, Wyoming, 530,000 people. Okay. 530,000 people killed, let's say 100,000. Does that person deserve to die? An American citizen who killed his or her own people.
By putting someone on death row, America is killing someone.
Someone who deserves to die.
No, again, I don't know why you keep bringing this up. I do not think that people should deserve to die.
Someone who kills more than 15 people, what is their will to live? Doesn't matter if they worked as a CEO, doesn't matter if they worked on a 9-to-5 job. Okay, they deserve to die.
I just don't agree with that at all.
Well, then that's just wrong. Because people,
I don't know. I don't understand how my opinion is wrong. Like I could say the exact same thing to you. So
people deserve to die. Some people deserve to die. They deserve to be sentenced to death. And if they prove their point, they prove their innocence on trial, or if they prove they plead guilty, okay, they get sentenced to life in prison if they plead guilty. However, if they don't plead guilty, they still deserve to die.
I just, again, I don't think anyone deserves to die. No one's going to change my mind on that.
Well, then, if it's an opinion, why?
Because, again, I do not think that people should be killed just because of something that they might not have done.
Might not have done. Okay, what if they did do it? Do they deserve to be killed?
No. Because they might not have done it. There's no 100%, oh, yeah, they did it. Unless it's like maybe on video or something, but no.
Okay, so
I do not think in any way people should deserve to die.
Well,
I don't think that they should be killed. I don't think that people should be killed on death row, just like how these people shouldn't be murdering other people. If you're put on death row, you're going to be murdered.
You're going to be killed. Okay, so that means you think that the entire U.S. justice system deserves to have life in prison.
No.
Okay, well,
that's not what I'm saying.
They killed people, so don't they deserve life in prison?
Are you talking about the people who actually do the murders?
Yeah. Do you think that they deserve life in prison?
No.
Oh, but
because it's their job. It's something that they're supposed to be doing, and the death penalty obviously isn't illegal. So
a hitman, that is their job, to kill people. They don't deserve death.
They don't again, no one deserves death. That's what I'm trying to say.
So, but the people who, okay, so a hitman, like you said, his job is to kill someone. Okay, but the people who run the death penalty deserve to die.
But you see, being a hitman is illegal, and I want the death penalty to be illegal.
So being a hitman is illegal. Okay, so they kill 5 people for money. Okay, do they deserve life in prison?
Yes.
Okay, so if the death penalty should be illegal, do those people deserve life in prison?
What do you mean? I do not think anyone. Okay, what I'm saying, I do not think anyone should be put to death. I do not think anyone should die for any reason.
Okay, so the innocent people who get killed for no reason, don't you think that their killer should be illegal, or should go have the death penalty? So those innocent people who died because someone decided, well.
What about the innocent people who die on death row?
Then that's a problem that we need to fix.
That's never going to be fixed.
Well, it should be.
If there's a system like this, there is no reason that people should be dying. There's no reason. Just like how you think that people shouldn't be murdered cold-blooded on the street, I do not think that people should be murdered in the hands of the state.
But they're 96% of the time, they are not innocent.
1 out of 25 times they are innocent.
Okay, if you commit a crime, if you're those 24 people, you commit a crime that is so horrific that you deserve death. Okay, let's just say. Okay, no, you get life in prison because the death penalty is illegal.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody who kidnaps innocent children, kills them, sells them, child traffickers, sex traffickers, you think that they only deserve life in prison? Maximum?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Ruined families, who killed children, those people deserve life in prison. They ruined families, they ruined friends,
If you kill someone on the death penalty, then you're also going to ruin families.
but they deserve to die. The people, the innocent families,
that's
their child through child sex trafficking or whatever, the innocent families, okay, those innocent families have someone who died innocently, 100% innocently. Okay, but that family of the person that's on death row, 96% of the time, that person, the person who's on death row, committed a crime.
Okay, if the 4% statistic is exactly correct, that means 61 people have 61 innocent people have been executed on death row. Do you not think that's an issue? Like, that's so many. Like, I don't understand why you want to keep a system that kills that many innocent people.
Okay, so a murderer who kills 61 innocent people. Okay, 61 people kill one innocent person, deserve death.
That's an extra person that will die.
61. But they're not innocent. Okay, they're more likely than not. Okay, there are murderers who kill more than 61 people. Okay, that is more than the 61 innocent people who deserve to die. That is horrible. That is horrible that those people died, but that is proof of a flawed system and the system that needs to be fixed. Get better lawyers.
No matter what, if we have a system like this, innocent people will die. There's no way of proving every single murder 100%. And if we did, then there would only be literally 3 people murdered every year, because it's very hard to prove someone 100% that they did this murder. So if we changed it so that you had to be 100% proven, then it would be used so rarely that there would be no point in keeping it at all.
Well, those innocent people, there was more than 61 innocent people. Okay, death penalty is illegal, all 50 states. Okay, I'm going to put this in your perspective. Every single one, okay? So 15 murderers kill 6 people each, okay? Those people are not innocent. Okay, they're 99% not innocent. To go have life in prison. Is that what you're saying?
I do not think that anyone should be killed on death penalty. Anyone, no matter what.
No matter what?
No matter what.
So if you kill 100,000 people, hypothetically, no, you don't deserve death. You have a reason to live, but that reason is, well, I mean, we can't tell you.
But you can't just say, oh, this person deserves to die, when there's so many reasons that the death penalty is flawed. That cannot be fixed. There are so many reasons to not support the death penalty, and if you think that the only reason to support it is, oh, these people deserve to die, then I don't think that's right. That's not
the only reason. I said my other reasons.
Yeah, and I debunked most of them.
Oh, wow. I debunked most of your theories. If Osama bin Laden was American, he plotted against New York, against the Pentagon, against a field in Pennsylvania, but that's besides the point. Okay.
I don't know why you keep bringing him up, because he's not in the United. He wasn't
in American citizen. He wasn't 15 terrorist attacks to countries all over the world. No, you don't deserve the death penalty. Although you killed thousands of innocent people, made even more thousands of families suffer through that death. You don't deserve to die.
You need to think about the other people in this situation, the family of the person who is on death row, the friends of the person on death row, the children of the people who are on death row.
Well, maybe they should have thought about that before they committed.
And 1 in 25 people, at least, that have been executed are innocent. So not really thinking about it before.
In the system, more innocent people have been killed by by people who deserve the death penalty.
So you want more innocent people to be killed?
What do you mean? No, no. Saying more innocent people have been killed by death row inmates than have been killed or who have been innocent on death row. And that's not the death penalty's fault. That is the judge's fault. That is the lawyer's fault. That is the jury's fault. That is not the death penalty's fault.
It's if you support the death penalty, you are supporting the execution of innocent people. And okay. This discussion is just going in circles. You want to do a closing statement?
All right. Well,
you can go, and then I'll do mine.
So, in conclusion, the death penalty should be legal in all 50 states due to the fact that capital punishment deters criminals from committing more horrific crimes. Some people don't deserve to live. Some crimes are so horrific that they don't deserve anything but death. And some people are just far beyond rehab to have life in prison. And it is less. Okay, there are more times than not that someone is not innocent, and it's much cheaper than having someone have life in prison.
I debunked it. Okay. Okay, you done with yours? Okay, mine is, overall, the death penalty system is terrible. I do not understand why anyone would support a system that is stacked against marginalized groups and impoverished people. When you support the death penalty, you're supporting the execution of innocent people who cannot afford lawyers, the mentally ill, and people of color who are more likely to be executed. The death penalty has been proven many times to not achieve the intended goal, which is to decrease crime. It does the exact opposite. This is just one of the many reasons to not support the death penalty. When looking at all these facts about it, I genuinely would never, ever consider supporting the death penalty. I hope everyone watching this actually understands the death penalty more and understands its flaws are too major to fix. The death penalty needs to be abolished, and it must be abolished as soon as possible. This is not an issue that can wait. The longer we wait, the more people who will be executed. This issue puts innocent lives at risk. I wish much love to all the families who have lost someone to the death penalty. Special consideration goes out to the families of Larry Griffin, Leo Jones, Troy Davis, Gary Graham, Lester Bauer, and many, many more.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I hope stay safe in Corona. Don't catch it. Thank you for doing this with me, though.
Yeah, no problem. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. Bye.
Bye, everyone.